Live. I'm your boy, James Owen.
I'm Sanders Tisdale.
And unfortunately, folks, this is the season-ending show of the Pittsburgh Steelers of Steeler Nation Live. But do not fret, folks at home, because we will be doing special shows from time to time. We'll put the alerts out, let you know when special guests want to come by Steeler Nation Live and give us all the information and stuff that they're doing out there, books, speaking, whatever they're doing out there. We'll keep you posted on that. We're also going to be posted on the loss in Buffalo. The Pittsburgh Steelers losing to the Buffalo Bills in super fashion here at the first round of the playoffs. It was what it was. We're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about what happened and why. We're also going to talk about the referees, Pickens' possible fine. Well, you know what's coming. And we're going to talk about that, the intricate parts of the football game. What do we expect for the Pittsburgh Steelers going forward after this, after losing once again in the playoffs? This is our sixth time and the most in the Pittsburgh Steelers playoff era, 6 times in a row. And Mike Tomlin's future. We just found out that Mike Tomlin will be the head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers for the 2024 season, but who knows what's to come. But folks, is it too early to talk about draft? We're going to talk about all that when we come back here on Steeler Nation Live.
Well, I thought he, displayed the things that he displayed really for the last month or so.
Anyone?
Mike, you have a year left on your contract.
Wow. Welcome back to Steeler Nation Live. We have all this stuff to talk about, playoff losses. We're going to talk about the playoff schedule coming up for the teams who did advance. And we're going to talk about the players and teams that did not advance, who are going home on the couch, like the Pittsburgh Steelers. We're going to talk about that soon. And Sanders, it was a very disappointing loss. It started out bad for both teams. The snow came to Buffalo like it usually does this time of year. No big surprise. And shut down the city of Buffalo, shut down the thruway, shut down the whole stadium, everything. I mean, you couldn't even find the stadium. It was undercover in the snow. And you got to give kudos to the fans in Buffalo who came out with their shovels in hand.
Yeah.
And they dug out the stadium. They got paid, maybe gave some tickets, but you know what? Kudos to the people out there in Buffalo who busted their butts out there to see a good football game. Unfortunately, it wasn't good for us, Sanders.
No. And it was sad, too, just to see the fact of how the Steelers fought in this game, how the Steelers came into Buffalo. We all knew it was going to be a different game when we changed because of the weather. But like you said, great, thought by everyone to say, let's push this thing out. Let's push it out for the safety of the fans. And I understand that because, the first thing you'd find some guy drunk in the stands with no shirt on, and that same guy is going to drive home. You know what? Not affecting it's more than just the game. It's beyond the game, what could be affected. But you know what? In saying that, James, it was just so epic just to watch the fact of my Pittsburgh Steelers. I was proud of them. I don't know about a lot of you guys out there. I was proud of my Steelers going into Buffalo. Wasn't going to make the playoffs. The long, hard season, all you fans out there that are Pittsburgh Steelers fans, it was a long, hard season. Every game was close. How many times, James, have we said when we're on the phone or texting each other, I'm going to need Rolaids by the end of the season. I'm going to need something. This is a mess. And the Steelers found a way to pull it out. And not just pull it out, the Steelers found a way to pull it out in fine fashion by sitting up there, becoming the 7th seed. And not just that, at one point in this game, almost pulling it off after it looked like, James, it was going to be a devastating defeat in Buffalo, but the Steelers fought and clawed back.
Yeah, traditionally the Pittsburgh Steelers, they get behind and they just somehow don't have the motivation to come back. But the score doesn't depict the way the Pittsburgh Steelers continue to stay in this game with penalties. They put the ball on the ground a couple times. And when you play a team like Buffalo Bills, the 2nd seed in the NFL AFC playoffs, it's really kind of hard to come back and beat a team like Buffalo. It's not like Buffalo is going to make mistakes at this magnitude or at this juncture of the playoffs. It just doesn't happen, especially when they're at home. And we're not going to, get divulged too much on, the referees, and it is what it is, folks. I mean, everybody knows, excuses are like, everybody has one, but it's very frustrating to watch your team out there and these calls that are missed, calls that are called that shouldn't be called. But you know what? As players and people say, you shouldn't rely on the referees to call the game for you. But it's just something to think about. And we're not just talking about the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Buffalo Bills game. All throughout the season, you look at a game, pick a game, and you watch a video, the referees are screwing up left and right, and it's just not us. It's just not the Pittsburgh Steelers losing. You could go watch any game. And, we're not going to take anything away from the Buffalo Bills. Josh Allen is an all-pro quarterback. I mean, he is, of the Buffalo Bills. And you take Mason Rudolph right there. If you put those guys together, they're pretty much the same size and stature, but I do believe that Josh Allen has a couple pounds of muscles more on him than Mason Rudolph. But Josh Allen got the coaching. Josh Allen got the opportunity to be where he is. Unfortunately, Rudolph never got that opportunity. And is it too late in the game for Rudolph? We don't know. His contract's up this year. And is he ever going to be a Josh Allen? We don't know. He's been with the NFL for 6 years, and Josh Allen's been around for a couple of years, and he just continues to improve, continues to strive for the Buffalo Bills. And maybe, just maybe, this might be the year that Josh Allen takes the Buffalo Bills to the Super Bowl, but there's a long road ahead. I mean, the Pittsburgh Steelers is just a speed bump in there. And just like, I don't want to say it's a practice game for the Buffalo Bills, but you take the statistics and the record of the Pittsburgh Steelers, in fact, how we even got there, we shouldn't even been in the playoffs. But while you're given the opportunity, you got to do it the best you can. And I remember not too long ago, the Pittsburgh Steelers won 6 or 7 games on the road to become Super Bowl champions. And it could have happened. There was a possibility. History could have repeated itself, but not in snowy Buffalo. Couldn't happen. The Bills were just too much for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Like I said, playing a team like the Buffalo Bills, Sanders, you have to play mistake-free football.
Yep.
And that did not happen. Especially, how can you expect them to play mistake-free football when you lose to the Patriots, you lose to the Colts, and you lose to, another 2-10 team that it escapes me right now off the top of my head. But when you get to the point, it's just like here's an opportunity.
The Cardinals.
Yeah, the Cardinals. I'm sorry. Another 2-10 team we lost. So when you put that together, that's not a playoff team. But we did have the opportunity, and we blew it.
Yeah, I mean, exactly what we did. I'm sorry. I was reading some stuff off the board. We're getting stuff from all over the place on different parts of the board. But, yeah, I agree with you totally. The Steelers, you know what? It is what it is. I thought we came up short on some things, but it happens. It happens. Calls are missed. It's a part of the NFL. We've seen it's been a bad year for the ref. I will admit that. But the fact is that they came out. They called the game. It is what it is. And like Tomlin always says, don't put yourself in a position to where you got to have a ref decide whether you're going to stay home for the summer, for the winter, or rest of the winter, start for next year. And that's what we did. So when it comes down to it, that's all it came down to it. And that's why the Steelers are sitting on the couch right now. We let the Bills come in, or we came into the Bills' house, and we didn't play. We didn't stick to our game plan, which I thought, James, would have been for the Steelers to keep the pound and the run game. And that kind of cost us in that 1-yard interception from Mason Rudolph, instead of just continually just trying to pound the ball in and then settle for 3 because it was such a condensed area, we decided to throw the ball. But in saying that, remember, guys, we have 2 offensive coordinators, and both of them are inexperienced. But the fact is, they came out and they won 3 games. No matter which way you look at it, these guys won 3 games calling plays, did a phenomenal job. Do I want them back next year as an offensive coordinator? Of course not.
No, absolutely not.
But they did a phenomenal job for the time being. We went through the 7, 8, 9 games of Matt Canada, and that was enough to just say, you know what? Atrocious, like you said. And then you bring in these 2 guys, and these 2 guys win 3 games. But that's incoherent to the fact of them starting Mason Rudolph in the game. So Mason Rudolph comes in the game, and he does a lot. We're going to go over some numbers from the Steelers-Bills game, James. And, guys, a lot to be said.
Yeah, it was a lot closer than the score depicts. I mean, Pittsburgh Steelers came out with 324 total yards offense. The Buffalo Bills, 368. So we weren't far from that. It's the penalties that killed us, and the non-call penalties that helped the Buffalo Bills. Buffalo Bills had 2 penalties in the whole game for 24 yards, and we know that doesn't even seem right. Turnovers, Buffalo Bills, mistake-free football. 0 times they put the ball on the ground. Pittsburgh Steelers, unfortunately, did it 3 times, but we're not going to get into technicalities of why the play was called Pittsburgh Steelers football, look up the rule book, watch the replay. That's there for yourself to spell right out for you. Time possession, Steelers were behind maybe 7-8 points from the Buffalo Bills. And Mason Rudolph, not a bad day, 22 for 39 for 229 yards, 2 touchdowns, and that 1 interception. We flip it over to Josh Allen, 21 for 30, only 203 yards in the air, 3 touchdown passes. However, Josh Allen almost had 100 yards on the ground. So if you're running the ball, I guess you don't have to throw it. So Najee Harris, 37 yards on the ground. Come on. You got to, I know the ball was being spread around, but that's your workhorse. That's your number one running back you drafted not too long ago. You got to put him to work. Freiermuth, 5 catches, 76 yards. And on the flip side, Kincaid, their tight end, they had 2 tight ends that scored. Knox scored a touchdown. Kincaid scored a touchdown. And the running back sensation, Cook, was 18 for 79, and Pickens 5 for 50. And, I wish he would have scored a touchdown or some more points there because he's going to need it for that possibly suspension. He's going to get fined. That paycheck you could just kiss that paycheck goodbye. But, I mean, literally, when you're so passionate about the game and things aren't really going your way, as a safe way to say it, I could understand the frustration. It wasn't that he wasn't getting the ball. It's just, he fumbled the ball. Opportunities that were there for Pickens, slim, but I mean, slim Pickens, right?
Yeah.
5 catches for 50 yards. And you just, this kid is going to be a beast. The Steelers are, 1 quarterback away from actually turning this organization around. We're going to talk about that later in the show. And Sanders, what do you expect from the Pittsburgh Steelers moving forward right now? We know that, we have a lot of issues. The offensive line is beginning to gel somewhat. We have, I wouldn't say it's a quarterback controversy because we have 3 quarterbacks that are just like,
no,
you don't know who you're going to get on their best day. Right now, if they were in a race, obviously Rudolph is in front, Pickett is second, and Trubisky, his contract is up. Don't expect him in the Pittsburgh Steelers uniform next year.
Correct.
And we also had head coach, offensive coordinator we have to grab. The thing I'm most excited about, and believe it or not, I know it sounds silly and stupid to be excited about, looking for next year, as Mike Tomlin's coming back, and we're actually hopefully going to hire outside help at the offensive coordinator position, somebody with some new, fresh blood to come in there and vamp it up, because we talked about this many times on the show that what the Pittsburgh Steelers need to do, we need to get out of that old school mentality, and we need to develop along with the other teams with the high potent offenses. And we have a great running attack, right?
Yeah.
So we need that high potent offensive. We need a quarterback who can get the ball out. We got the receivers.
Yep.
We got the tight ends.
Yep.
Okay. Darnell Washington. We drafted him for his size and his, physicality and the way he could, if he catches the ball, good luck trying to get this guy down.
Yeah.
But you got to use him.
Hey, just to let you guys know, when we were also reading the boards and stuff like that, Carl Colangelo says Steelers, despite the turnovers, was still in this game. 100% agreed, brother. 100% agreed. He also says that surprise Herbig didn't play more. That's what I wanted to see. The fact is, Herbig didn't play more. But
he didn't play at all.
What? I thought he played.
If he played, it was
sparingly. He very sparingly. I don't know why or what was going on. But Herbig, this guy is a young rookie, a talented rookie. And not just that, he's got that same motor as Watt.
He's a mini Watt.
Yeah.
Mini Watt. That's what they call him.
A mini Watt. Yeah.
Mini Watt.
But the thing about it is that the Steelers right now, every time we seem like when playoffs roll around, we're never 100%. And can I say the same thing about the Buffalo Bills? And a lot of Bills fans, I've been hearing from them. They were like, well, we picked this guy off the couch. We picked this one up, whatever, off here or there. And they had their injury problems as well. So I'm not going to deny that as well. But I do feel that we were shorted a lot in, with the battle and some of the calls that were out there from the refs that kind of got to me or whatever. And did the Steelers actually get away with a call with the fumble from Freiermuth? I'm not sure.
No.
The ball looked like it might have changed direction somewhat when it hit his helmet, but who knows? They made the call. There was no definite way to change it. So it is what it is.
Right. They made the call in the field.
Right.
And to overturn a call in the field that was called on the field, you have to have clear, concise evidence to overturn it. And the referees on the field and up in the booth, they could not determine a clear, concise recovery. Did recover it inbounds and roll out of bounds? Was the out of bounds came in? Because the replay, you can't tell. It has to be clear and concise. And it wasn't. So because they ruled it on the field that it was a fumble out of bounds, that's the way they had to go. That's the way the rules is. It wasn't they gave Pittsburgh something, because I'll tell you what, it wasn't like a makeup call, or it was just that's the rule book. So, and that's how it goes. But the thing about the Buffalo Bills that you got to admire, their offensive coordinator, they knew how to handle, the Steelers defense with the proper play calling, what play to call, when to call it. And if you watch the game, that when Josh Allen was rolling out of pocket, he rolled it to the side that TJ Watt would have played. And with the Pittsburgh's defense flip-flop Highsmith from one side to the other, then Allen ran the other way. It was a great offensive scheme by the Buffalo Bills. It didn't help the Pittsburgh Steelers defense at all.
Hey, welcome to Steeler Nation Live. Who do we have on the line?
Sandman, you got Cincinnati Joe T on the phone.
It's about time. The season is pretty much over, and you finally have the Calhones to call in.
Yeah.
I wish you would.
Well, let's put it this.
I wish you would have called in after the Cincy game. That would have been beautiful.
Well, I had nothing to say. That was when you got a backup quarterback, and and I know, you being a sports nut, if Cincinnati had Joe Burrow for that game, it would have been a totally different story.
Well,
so you guys are in the same situation right now with your backup quarterbacks as we were. Okay?
Well, that's
now,
our third string quarterback, not the backup, third string.
No, I understand. Right. And you said a little while ago you guys got a lot of problems. Let's put it this way: you guys actually are in good shape. You could be worse. You could be the Dallas Cowboys right now, or you could be Philadelphia. And there's a lot of problems on those teams. If you watched the Philly game last night, their secondary tackling looked like a Division II. It was terrible. Okay, but here's, in my opinion, you're missing piece going forward, because Sandman, you just said a little while ago, what do we need to do going forward to fix this problem? Well, in all honestly, you said you got a 3-headed quarterback controversy going next year.
Yep.
Not the answer. I don't. Is Pickens the guy? Is Pickett the guy? You really think so? I don't see it happening. Is Mason Rudolph going to be your? Look at the playoff quarterbacks right now in the playoffs.
Right.
Except for maybe Baker Mayfield, who's playing above himself, who's playing kind of decent right now. Look at the quarterbacks you got left in the playoffs this year right now. You got level 1A quarterbacks. You guys went into a hostile environment, rich Buffalo Stadium, Josh Allen. If you had one of those quarterbacks on your team, you honestly guys had an honest shot of winning that game. Your negative denominator in that game was your quarterback. Even though he had a great third quarter, he had a great third quarter. He brought you guys back on little chip shots here and there. Never shot the ball downfield once. If you noticed, I don't know why they didn't go to Pickens deep at all, but you guys need a level 1 quarterback, in my opinion. I mean, that's what Cincinnati needed to get them over the top. Were we going anywhere with the Red Rocket? No. Were we going anywhere with anybody else? No. You get a quarterback like Joe Burrow, you get a quarterback like Josh Allen, all these teams that are left in the playoffs, that's your missing piece. In my opinion, I think Bo Nix, if you guys had a pocket passer right now, like a 6'5", 6-year starter, all-time leading completions quarterback in NCAA history, I think Bo Nix going into your draft would be a hell of a pickup for you guys.
Yeah.
Your opinion on that?
Yeah. Hey, Joe, hold on. But before you go forward, I want to let you something, because it was a lot of back-to-back calls came in. I just let you guys know we're talking to Cincinnati Joe on the line, so we're gonna deal with him, and we're gonna keep going through the reels, brother, because this is the playoff night. We're trying to get this through. But Joe, you know what? One thing you are right about. I do agree with you, and what you said, a lot of people on the board, they actually agree with you as well. You are correct. We do need a top level quarterback, and I do agree with you. That's not the
well, here's my
what's
take.
name's not the answer.
Here's my take on this. All right,
Mason.
It's Mason Rudolph is a great backup. He's the guy that could come in and obviously he could fill in admirably. And I've been talking about this throughout the season. What the Pittsburgh Steelers need to do is they need to sign Kirk Cousins next year, 2-3-year contract with a one option. And I'm talking about drafting a quarterback like Bo Nix, like you said, and have him play underneath Kirk Cousins to develop him the way that Mason Rudolph did when he came on Oklahoma State behind Ben Roethlisberger. Right. That's what he should have taken the reins over, no pun intended. And when Ben left, he should have plopped right in there and should have kept on moving. But the Steelers organization dropped the ball. They blew it on Mason Rudolph, and they just said, hey, get in there and play. And then he gets in there and doesn't take first group snaps, and he just gets in there, tries his best, and he fails, and his confidence is down. People hate him. He sucks. Get rid of him. And I mean, the rest is history. So if we have a scenario like that, get Kirk Cousins and draft a quarterback who can develop, keep Rudolph in.
I don't like Kirk Cousins, man.
You don't have to, but listen, look at his statistics.
I did.
How many years have he thrown for over 8,000 yards, 6 seasons in a row? How many touchdowns is this guy? He's just one.
He would definitely be an improvement over what you got. There's no doubt.
Joe, I think you'd be an improvement right now.
I don't get
it. True.
Hey, I mean, back in the day, back in high school, we have Patrick Piano. He's saying hi to you, Joe. He's like,
oh yeah,
I mean, back in the day, Jefferson High School. Come on, let's go. We played, and you were an athlete back then, Joe. So you know what I'm talking about. So it's not impossible. So I mean, I don't even say worst case scenario. I mean, this is something that is very doable with the Pittsburgh Steelers. We got a lot of money hiding.
Hey, Joe, because we still getting a lot of calls coming back. But let me ask you this: give me what your prediction is for the next upcoming games. Which one do you have on a slate? There's Saturday. We got
the Texans at the Ravens, Packers at San Fran this Saturday.
Well, let's put it this way, and all honestly, without joking, I really don't think even the San Francisco game. If you guys look at what Jordan Love has done his last 7-8 weeks with those receivers now that are all healthy, you got an incredibly healthy Aaron Jones. You got Dylan coming back this week. You got an offensive line that's starting to put it together, and you got a team coming off a bye week. A lot of teams don't do well in the playoffs, a la Lamar Jackson. The worst thing this guy could have is a week off, because 3 years ago when they were the number 1 seed, home field advantage,
I agree.
13-3, his MVP year. What happened? Yeah. Tennessee Titans came into town. Henry ran all over them. They lost. So I really don't think that there's a clear cut, even though a couple of the spreads are big. San Francisco's 9. There's a couple other games that are 9, but Tampa Bay, could they beat Detroit? Is Detroit legit? They're playing above themselves. Would it be a shocker if Tampa Bay went into Detroit and beat them? Absolutely not. The real shocker coming up this week would be if the Packers go into San Fran, which they're coming off a huge win, lots of momentum. I don't think the Texans beating the Ravens would be a shocker. You got a quarterback that's on fire. You got a receiver that's coming out of nowhere, and you got a coach in DeMeco Ryans right now who has that team playing with so much confidence right now. Buffalo's lucky that they're not playing the Houston Texans this week, because that team right now, in my opinion, is a matchup the Ravens don't want. But I don't think there's a clear-cut favorite. I think San Francisco is vulnerable. I think the Packers right now, you know what I mean? I mean, that's my opinion, but I really don't think I can sit here and say, the 49ers are going to, the Packers fairy tale season's over. No, what they did to Dallas, going into Dallas and building that 20-0 first quarter lead was no fluke. That quarterback right now, there's something up with this guy, because he's throwing off his back foot looking like, Aaron Rodgers off that back foot throwing darts to these receivers. It's going to be an interesting weekend. It really is. But I'm going to let you guys go because I know you guys got other callers.
yeah.
I just wanted to say hey. That's you guys played a very admirable game. But like I texted to you last week, saying, man, when I was listening to the show, your only downfall going into this game was your QB. Your first, I think it was your first 5 or 6 drives. You guys went 3 and out, and when Buffalo went up 14-0, you can't go 3 and out your first 5 or 6 drives. You just can't. And obviously the fumble, the fumble by the Pickens was
huge.
Can't make mistakes, Joe.
And,
Can't
like
make
you said,
mistakes.
they should have, when they got the ball to the 10-yard line, they should have pounded the two-headed monster and got in the end zone instead of throwing
Everybody
that pick
called that
before half. That was huge. That was huge.
Hey.
But hey, good season. Next year, both Joe Burrow will be 100% healthy, and James will have some different conversations when the Bengals play the Steelers on Monday Night Football, which I'm sure they're going to get a spot this year. And when Burrow's healthy, I'll be sure to call the show that Tuesday.
And then when they play in Pittsburgh, we need to do a road trip and go for that game.
Okay. Oh, absolutely.
Sounds
I'm
like a
down
plan.
for it.
I'll call you, Joe.
All right, guys.
All right,
You
Joe.
take care.
Cincinnati
Enjoy the show.
Joe
Love
on the
it.
line.
Talk to you.
That's what I'm
All
talking
right.
about.
Bengals fan calling a Steelers show. We do not discriminate, folks. We do Cowboy Kenny, San Fran Steve, Tennessee Titan Mark. I mean, we got them all. DJ, Jazzy Jeff.
Hey, one guy that I want to try to get in the line quick because we got another guy calling in a minute.
Jeff Reed will be calling in.
Yeah, we got Jeff Reed, NFL kicker, calling in. Hey, I want to try to get a fresh MC Reggie Fresh. Reggie Fresh, if you're out there you go, Reg. I think I see your number right there. This got to be. Is this the main man, MC Reggie Fresh?
Fresh. What's going on, brother? What's going on?
Hey, man, sorry about that, man. I know I seen you trying to get through.
Right.
It was a bunch of other numbers backing up against you. So, hey, brother, we got
that's cool.
and I apologize to you, man, because I love having you
It's
on the
all
show.
good.
But real quick,
We
have Jeff Reed going to be calling in a couple minutes too, in about another 10 minutes. So,
okay.
Just want to get your thought on. Okay, you said 5, yeah, because he did, yeah. But the thing about it is, give me your take on the game, man. What happened, real quick, and what you think is going to happen going forward.
All right, listen, man. First of all, I'm not going to make no excuses. Not going to say we're going to change the outcome of the game. But you're not going to tell me that a whole team, they had 6 flags on them last week. They was penalty free the whole game. They had 1 penalty at the end of the game under a minute. I'm not buying it. So I've seen holding all day. And I'm not making no excuses. And people can say what they want to say. A win is a win. But you got to call them 10-yard penalties because it makes a big difference, number one. Okay, this is what we need to do. We need to go out there and quit playing around. I'm sick of looking even teams that are raggedy, they still got a high-powered offense. We don't have it. We got the tools, but we have got to quit doing check downs, throwing it to the 3-yard line, three-yard marker instead of the first down. And we got to utilize our stars. Period. We got to get back to the old ways, smash mouth football. Period.
Agreed.
We got to get the running backs. Everybody got to block. Everybody got to do a part, man, and all of that. Tomlin's going to come back, and I feel this way. He ain't going to coach no more. Tom, after he do this year, he's going to sit down, stay with his wife, with his family for about 2 or 3 years. Then he might come back in. But, man, 17 years is a long time. And, he'll probably be behind the booth, doing sports like y'all doing now, like we do. Yep. So I think that's what's going to be the future with the Steelers. And we're going to get somebody that's going to replace them. That's going to be good, and we need a better offensive coordinator. We definitely need another quarterback. Right now, to me, Rudolph is the best quarterback we got as we speak.
Somebody said that on the line.
As we speak now.
And what's the name should be the backup. But I think we need to go. There's a lot of quarterbacks out there like that one from that's in the championship game that from Washington State. Well, I know we might not get him, but a lot of people don't need no quarterback. We need a quarterback.
No,
yeah.
I don't.
And if we're going to get a backup quarterback, a rookie, we got to have somebody like that.
Bo Nix. Well, I got it really quick. Penix, I watched him. I saw him a couple times during the season. I said, this kid, this cat has got it. But when he's under pressure, as what he underperformed in a championship game, we can't have another quarterback who falters under pressure. This kid was doing Pickett stuff.
Right.
He was under pressure, running for his life, and he couldn't find the open receivers. We cannot have that again. Bo Nix is the guy.
Exactly.
Hey.
Yeah.
That's what I told you.
So
that's my boy MC Reggie First. Hey, Reggie, let them know where they can check you out, brother. Because like I said,
all right, man. Hey, look, check this out. Tell Jake Reed Hey, tell him I need him on my show too if you get a chance and give him some shout outs.
Yeah, I
It's like
will.
Money in the Bank.
Yep.
That's my boy, MC Reggie Fresh. Hey, you got any interviews coming up before you get off, brother?
All right, well, look, man, I'm backed up with interviews because I'm waiting for this new year, but you'll start seeing a lot more coming through now. So now I get back on track for this new year because, man, I've been so busy and stuff like that. I've been backed up. But we definitely, everybody just stay tuned. If any Steelers fans on here want to get on the show, y'all know how to get a hold of them. Appreciate you again, my brother.
That's my boy, MC Reggie Fresh, my dog. Hey, thanks again, brother, for coming on, brother. Always black and gold, dog.
Black and yellow, Pittsburgh style.
There you go. Love it. Love it.
I
love
see
it.
you, dog.
Hey, folks, we have Jeffrey calling in a couple minutes right there. So after Jeffrey's phone call, we implore you to call in 585-210-3917. That's the number to call. But meanwhile, while you're waiting to get through on the phone lines, be free to chat. Let's hear what you got to say. What's going on? Your thoughts, your opinions of Pittsburgh Steelers. Mike Tomlin, green to come back for one more year. And you know what? I got chills, Sanders. I got chills. I'll tell you why. Because remember, not too long ago.
Cocoa or something?
No.
Okay.
Remember, not too long ago, we had a player on the Pittsburgh Steelers named Jerome Bettis, ready to retire. He was done. He was ready to go, but he said, "I'm coming back for one more year." One more year. And what happened when he came back for the 1 year?
Title.
Super Bowl.
Title.
I'm not saying it's going to happen, but you know what? I'm just getting a vibe. I'm getting a vibe right now because the way Mike Tomlin, everybody's talking that he's going to walk away. The press conference, you saw that. They asked about his contract. He just turned and walked away. Didn't want to discuss it, which is really not.
Yeah, hey, that was phenomenal. We played it at the beginning. In case you missed it, let's go back to it right now. Here we go on Still a Nation.
I thought he, displayed the things that he displayed really for the last month or so.
Anyone?
Mike, you have a year left on your contract.
Freaking love it.
You know, I got that deserves one more because I think I didn't have the. No, maybe I did. Maybe you guys did hear it. Okay,
But
the
we'll
thing
play
about
it
it
later in the show.
But the thing about it is that was phenomenal. That's one thing I love about it. Like I said, he wasn't going to let somebody get him into a debate. He knew what was going on. So he's like, I'm not even going to fathom answering that question, walked off. But the thing about it is, I love the fact that, like I said, he kept us in this game. I was sitting there shivering because I was like, this guy might pull us off with these dudes.
Well, here's the
with
thing.
These guys.
Well, here's the thing that any offensive coordinator would have picked up had they been an offensive coordinator. The way the Buffalo Bills defense was coming up with 5 men down, they knew that the Pittsburgh Steelers were going to try and run the ball. The depleted secondary, they had injuries. They had guys that really haven't been playing in the secondary. So they were making they wanted Mason Rudolph to beat him in the air. Unfortunately, we got some ground game going, but you have to utilize the talent you have with Freiermuth, Pickens, Deontay Johnson, Darnell Washington, and even swing the ball out to Jalen Warren and to Najee Harris in the backfield. Did not utilize the passing attack. Not one, like DJ Reggie Fresh said, not one ball, not one deep ball. I think Joe said it too. Joe Testa said the same thing. You got it. And what has happened for the last couple of weeks when the Pittsburgh Steelers took the ball deep? Over 70 yards, 3 touchdowns. Yeah. I mean, you got to throw the ball to make the play happen. And if you don't, the play's not going to happen. So we underutilized, Rudolph coming up and being very productive as our starting quarterback, and our receivers not dropping balls like they were last year.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we only dropped six balls the whole season.
Yeah.
But it's kind of hard to drop a ball when you throw it 3 yards. I get it. But
there's a lot of things that go into that. Like we said, it was offensive play calling. You're 3 yards away and we're passing, and it happened. An interception. Now think about it. If the Steelers would have punched that in, we'd have been talking about a tie game going into the late third. A tie game.
Yeah, you don't
from 21-0. These guys would have been 24-24 at that point. So it is what it is. He got these guys up to play. He got these guys in there. And a lot of guys, I know I've seen a lot of people from both sides. They say, you know what? Tomlin needs to go. Tomlin shouldn't be there anymore. And I can listen to both sides and I can understand both sides. But I do understand he's a guy that he wasn't always dealt the best hand.
Right.
And if he was dealt the best hand, which we had Roethlisberger at times, and I love Roethlisberger. Roethlisberger gave us titles. I called it out. He gave us titles. The guy was a masterful magician at standing in the pocket and finding somebody late. But there were also some playoff games in Tomlin's era that he cost us.
Yeah,
it was a lot of things that go into that. It wasn't just Tomlin. It was Ben. It was other things. But the thing about it is, he always kept us competitive.
yeah.
So I mean, I don't know. You talk to any other team out there. Talk to any other team that's transitioning with a quarterback. Look at the Carolina Panthers. What a mess. Talk to Indianapolis Colts, who are starting to try to find themselves. But you talk to all these different teams. These teams will tell you, you guys have been successful for so long, and we can't see it because either we become spoiled, and like we say, I hear a lot of people talk about mediocrity, but the thing about it is that the Steelers, he does what he's dealt with, and he works with it, and you know what, and he does the best he can do with it. At times, have there been games? There's been times that Tom has made some decisions, and I sit there and I'll be like, oh my God. But you know what? There's a lot of things. He kept that locker room together. He did everything. Think about it. That dude was James. Think about it. That guy was the only guy in the NFL to keep Antonio Brown grounded. This dude, Antonio Brown, he kept him grounded for 9 years.
Le'Veon Bell too.
Le'Veon Bell. Could you imagine it? Le'Veon Bell, Antonio Brown. I keep going down the list. These are guys that are wired like nuts. You know what I mean? But he kept it grounded, and he kept it grounded to win. And the thing about it is, they got close a couple of times. Should they have had a title in there? I agree. Yeah, they should have. But every time we went to the playoffs, either Antonio was hurt, Le'Veon was either hurt, you had this person hurt, that. Look at this. We're going into Buffalo. The major guy who always causes Josh Allen headaches was gone. Gone. So it is what it is. Like I said, he does with what he has to work with, James. Yeah. I mean, you guys right on the board or whatever, let me know what your thoughts are. Should Tomlin stay? Should he go? I know I get it from both sides. And like I said, I like being down the middle because I like to hear it from everybody. I mean, everybody has valid points. And James, I mean, what's your full honest opinion about this?
Well, the thing about Mike Tomlin is I had my doubts. I still kind of in the back of my head. But when you take a coach like Mike Tomlin, all right, and you see what he's been through for the teams he had coming to the Bill Cowher team and the things he had to deal with, it's kind of hard to try and keep your team together as well as try to win football games. And being I want to say father figure kind of coach, when he first came on board in 2007 with the Pittsburgh Steelers as head coach, he was authoritative. He was there. He was killing players. I mean, this is the coach that you want. The fire in his eyes, the speeches, his motivation. You come at he won a Super Bowl at the Tampa Bay Bucks as the defensive the secondary coach. He went to Minnesota for a year, was a defensive coordinator. We stole him from Minnesota, and this is the guy that you want. But it's really hard to get these players, these big babies, and try and have them be productive and do their job and try to win games when you're focused on their mental health. You're focused on, trying to keep these guys together. When most coaches would say, get rid of them, dump them, let's get somebody else and move on. Tomlin doesn't give up on players, and that can hurt you. That can help you. But looking at the Pittsburgh Steelers moving forward, the fact that Mike Tomlin said that he's going to be back one more year is a great thing. What's a bad thing is Pittsburgh Steelers and coaches, the past two, they don't, if there's less than 2 years or 2 years on the contract, already automatic extension. It happened with Cowher, and it's been going on with Mike Tomlin. He continues to win. He continues to play, great football. Unfortunately, some games are at the wrong side of the coin there. We lose games when we should have won games. But when you take that mentality as a coach like Mike Tomlin, and you just can't be frustrated, say, you know what, had enough, we need somebody else. Who can you get? Okay, you can name like Mike Vrabel. You can name all these other coaches out there who could come in and, fill a hole, fill a slot, but you're not going to get Mike Tomlin football. It's rough. It's dirty. It's finesse, all balled up in one. And this is what the Pittsburgh Steelers, this is why Pittsburgh Steelers have not had a losing season in 17 years. it's because of one of the main reasons with the leadership of Mike Tomlin. Unfortunately, there's game plans. Game plans fall apart. And when you have offensive coordinators that don't know what they're doing, defensive coordinators, we have Dick LeBeau, one of the greatest defensive coordinator minds in NFL history. It was time for him to leave. And so it's got to replace him. You got to replace offensive coordinators. It's hard to keep on doing that with different coaches all the time. You need to get a one set offensive-minded offensive coordinator to come in and get away from the football style, the Pittsburgh Steelers. You have to be competitive. You have to play.
Hey, welcome to Steeler Nation Live. I believe it's my main man on the line. What's up, brother? How you doing?
What's going on, guys? How we doing?
All right, Jeff Reed's on the phone, former Super Bowl champion of Pittsburgh Steelers and team member of Steeler Nation Live. Jeff, before we start talking about the Pittsburgh Steelers, Happy New Year, brother. Hope you and your family had a great Christmas and a Happy New Year. I know it's like we're kind of like a little away from there, but always make sure that the family is intact.
Yeah, man, everybody's good. Staying busy. Health is pretty good. Can't complain.
Beautiful.
So appreciate you asking. Same to you guys.
Oh, absolutely. We love you, folks. If you just tune in, Jeff Reed, former Pittsburgh Steelers Super Bowl champion kicker and part of the Steeler Nation Live crew here. Jeff, I know you've seen the game. I don't know if you were in Buffalo for it because of the weather. Probably couldn't fly in there, couldn't watch the game. I mean, it's disheartening, obviously, to anybody who's a Steeler fan when you lose. But, I mean, it's got to hit home more towards you because of your, with the team, with the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah, it was a good little run. Obviously, I didn't go to the game. Most of the weekends, unless I hit up Pittsburgh a few times a year, which I did this season. I'm at the bar. I'm running my restaurant. It was nuts in there. We broke a record for sales.
Wow.
It felt like a huge playoff atmosphere at a Charlotte, North Carolina bar. So that was a pretty cool thing. So that being said, obviously, I didn't have to watch the game. I was working, but I knew what was going on by the reactions of 150 people in a bar. So, rewinding a little bit, I have some friends that are from Buffalo, so all they do is talk smack. But that being said,
yeah,
I told them, I said, if Buffalo somehow sneaks in the playoffs, they're going to win the Super Bowl. That's what I told them. Because that's how we were in 2005. Everybody gave up on us because we were playing average.
He's
and all
right.
of a sudden, we never lost again.
Yeah.
And we were the 6th seed. I thought they were going to be the 7th seed. Miami blew it, so they ended up being a 2. However, they did sneak in the playoffs. So, because Jacksonville could have created a destiny not only for the Steelers but for Buffalo. And if Miami would have beat Buffalo, they wouldn't have made the playoffs. So that was the scenario in the last week of football. But so they did sneak in, even though they're a 2 seed, not a 7. So that's the team you don't want to play. They just they're very resilient. They've been great for a handful of years now under that coaching staff. Obviously, Josh Allen is a hell of a player. So, but back to your question, it did suck. I expected them to do a little better, but if you can't tackle and you're an NFL player, you're not going to win a playoff game. I can tell you that. Just from the parts I watched, Buffalo outplayed them, but 2 or 3 huge missed tackles cost them 21 points. So you can't, you got to hold them to field goal attempts. As you saw, their kicker was a complete mess in that game.
Yeah.
And they blocked one, and he duck hooked another short one. And if you'd have made him kick or go for 4th downs, Pittsburgh wins that game. So that's in a nutshell. I mean, you can't blame anybody. I think Mason Rudolph held his own.
Yeah, he did.
Couple bad passes, but you know what? Those can also turn a receiver into a defensive player, and you just don't let that happen. There were some drop passes. There's some pretty crappy play calls. But I'm not a coordinator, and I'm not. The only thing I know inside and out is special teams and kicking field goals and kickoffs.
Yeah,
and punting.
Right. Exactly. I mean,
so we're all fans when it comes to critiquing, and then we're excited when something good goes the Steelers' way.
Yeah, but once you get into the playoffs, Jeff, I think you alluded to it earlier that you got to basically play mistake-free football. You got to play your game of football, not theirs. You got to stay competitive because at 60 minutes is 60 minutes. Anybody can win the game, but if you put the ball on the ground and the other team doesn't, you miss tackles, like you said. It's really hard to win these football games, and the score doesn't depict that the Steelers were pretty much in it basically the whole game. Anything could have happened. They were down 2 scores, and I mean, you could throw a couple bad penalties in there and whatnot, and then you're really not going to win the game. And like you said, it's scary. You play a 7 seed team, especially when you're a 2 seed. Look at the Dallas Cowboys and the Green Bay Packers. I mean, everybody expected a hard fought game, but you'd never expected a complete blowout like that, did you?
No, not at all.
I mean, see, if I was a 2 seed, I would want to play 7 seed.
Yeah,
because now there's more pressure on you. You got to beat these guys.
And everyone, because of how the Ravens played the 49ers in the regular season, and it was an ass kicking. People don't understand when you earn that bye, it's awesome for the health of your team and rest, so call it. But when you come off that, and the team you're playing, whether they're the Houston Texans or the Green Bay Packers, have just totally blown out someone they're not supposed to beat, you're in trouble.
Oh yeah,
because we were 15-1 one year, and we had a bye, and we should have lost to the Jets, and they missed a few field goals, and I hit one in overtime.
I remember that. I see the highlight of that one.
That was 2000. That was 2004.
Yep.
So I'll never forget that because I thought we were just gonna. I didn't think. No, you can't ever think you're just gonna blow people out in the NFL. However, I was pretty confident the way we were playing, nobody was going to touch us. And we didn't win anything. New England beat us the week after, but we should have lost to the Jets. And they were a team we should have blown out if you look at the stuff on paper.
Oh, absolutely. Look at the Cardinals. Look at the Patriots. Look at the Colts that we lost to this year that we should have beat all at home. It's just I don't know. Any given Sunday, I mean, is that a real thing? I mean, you went into
it is. I mean, and it's more so that way in the NFL. Obviously, in college, if you don't show up, you can absolutely get beat. But in the NFL, as we've said 100 times on this show, going back the last couple of years, everybody gets paid. I mean, and it's a different game now. I mean, back when I played, it seems like 50 years ago, but it's 12. And you actually had guys actually played for each other. And today's football, there's people that get upset when they lose, but as long as they get their incentives and hit their bonuses and get their stats up, they're happy.
Yeah.
I agree.
And that's just a fact. I mean, the guy, what's his name? Pickens, throwing his helmet like a jackass. It's not acceptable, man. Like, dude, you dropped some passes you should have easily caught, and you caught some things I didn't ever think you'd catch. But you're a team player. Quit acting like an ass. Like that stuff like that. Like it didn't fly very well with teammates that I played with.
No.
I mean, I could slam my helmet all day if I miss a kick, but that doesn't make them feel better that I'm mad.
Right. Exactly.
Well,
right.
Jeff,
stuff like that can separate a locker room.
But Jeff, let me ask you this now. You've played for two phenomenal coaches. I believe you were there when Carl was there as well, weren't you? If I remember correctly.
Yeah, I was there. So yeah, 5 years with him and 5 years with Tomlin.
There you go. So now you heard the news that everybody heard that Tomlin is gonna make a return back to the Pittsburgh Steelers next season to finish out his final year or see what happens after that. What are your thoughts on that with Tomlin coming back to the Steelers, playing under both guys?
He's not. Yeah, I mean, I know I see stuff on social media all the time about his time's up, time to go, this and that. They're not getting rid of Tomlin. Unless Coach Tomlin said he's stepping away and mutually parting ways like Belichick did, he's not going anywhere, man. I mean, that's balls in his court. And you have to understand, like, if there were that many awesome head coaches out there that could change your franchise around like instantly, then maybe. But there's not.
Right.
It's just like there's not a ton of great quarterbacks. And in my position, there's about 10 awesome kickers, and the rest of them are average at best.
Yeah.
So it's just, if there was 32 plus another 10 on the street coaches that were badasses, yeah, make a decision. But you get rid of Tomlin. Number one, who you bringing in? Number two, you can't afford to take steps back. You've already done that for 3 years. So, I mean, people have to understand that Tomlin is a damn good coach. I understand if you look at his stats and that's great that you have winning seasons, but if you don't win anything, it's not acceptable in that franchise. But he's not going anywhere.
Right.
He's not going anywhere at all.
No, I believe that that he's going to be after the dust settles, Super Bowl's over, and usually they talk contract, last year, year before, but I don't see that's a problem because, like you said, there's no urgency to make a contract with Mike Tomlin. He agreed to come back one more year. There's no urgency, and like you said, there are people who would love to coach the Pittsburgh Steelers. Unfortunately for them, I don't think it's going to happen. I do believe that Mike Tomlin will be one of the highest paid coaches in NFL history. He's going to get a great contract extension. And already half the team, if not the whole team, says they only will play for Mike Tomlin. If he leaves, they're going to play for somebody else. But the Steelers are an offensive coordinator, and they're a quarterback away from actually winning another Super Bowl.
Well, and I don't know if this would happen, but if you're just looking at things that have happened in the last week or so of NFL, and I don't know if these coaches are willing to accept that or what's going on, because it's just the outsider looking in. If Coach Tom is your head coach, Mike McCarthy's your offensive coordinator, and Mike Vrabel's your defensive coordinator, hell, you might have something good going.
Well, there you have it, folks, right there. Fire sale. Pittsburgh Steelers go out there and they throw money around. They get the best team coached in the NFL history. I'm talking back with Bud Grant. I'm talking Tom Landry.
Just think about those. Just think about how much those three guys have impacted wherever they've been. And then you add in position coaches that they all know. I don't see a losing formula there.
No.
And then you have to understand how the NFL works, how everything works in life, really, not the NFL. It's all about who you know. So if you played for Mike Vrabel and he likes you and you like him, you're going to go to that team.
That's
if you have the option.
Yeah.
If you played for Mike McCarthy and you like the offense he runs, whether it sucks or it's great, I don't know. I'm not a coordinator once again. You're going to go want to play for that guy. And Mike Tomlin has won a Super Bowl. Yes, it was with Cowher's guys, but Mike Tomlin was our head coach when we won. And they're just a step or two away from being awesome. And right now they're still average, in my opinion.
Right.
Yeah.
Think about that.
Don't forget, Tomlin won a Super Bowl with the Buccaneers too, right?
Yeah, he was a defensive back coach.
Yeah, they're a defensive backs coach. Yeah.
Hey, Jeff. Like I said,
but
brother,
those are the things you have to look at.
And it doesn't seem far-fetched.
Instead of fire everyone, let's start over.
Yeah,
right.
And that's one thing. Like I told him earlier. I said there are a lot of teams out there. These guys, they always say, "Let's get rid of Tomlin. Let's get rid." But I'm telling these guys, he's a good coach. Look at some of these other teams around the NFL when they went through transitions of quarterbacks. We had Ben Roethlisberger, a legend in Pittsburgh, gone. This guy now you got guys coming in and they're still being somewhat productive. So much turmoil in this season, Jeff, that we actually still made the playoffs. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's nuts. And the thing about it is, I just, if you could 100% land Harbaugh, and because he was great in the NFL and he just won a national championship, if you could 100% land that, and you have something in place, okay, then you might take a shot at that. But you don't just fire someone because they can't get over the hump.
Right.
You just, the only reason Belichick's not there is because whatever meeting he had with Kraft, I guarantee they literally mutually said, you know what, let's just try something different. I appreciate all you've done. And that was it. Because I know he doesn't want to leave there, but Belichick wants to win. He can't go out like that.
No.
So he's going to go somewhere, just like Harbaugh's going to go somewhere where there's a hell of a quarterback. That's why the Chargers are his number one team.
That's what I heard.
Because they have a hell of a quarterback. I have no idea why they're bad.
Yeah,
but
got
obviously
great
it
running.
has something to do with the locker room.
Yeah, great running backs and receivers.
They're stacked and they stink. Like it just makes no sense. Look at the Eagles. Look at the Eagles.
Oh my God.
They're like world beaters, and then they can't beat a high school team.
That's true.
I mean, that's bad.
Yeah, I blame the coach on that. They all lost faith in him. They don't want to play for
Yeah,
him.
and see, I love that. I love that coach. So I didn't ever see it coming, but they just quit yesterday. They quit.
Yeah.
You got a guy like coming in there, throwing the ball over 300, 400 yards, 3 touchdowns. You know, just the Cleveland Browns have got to be sick to their stomach. They should have kept him instead of trading the whole kit caboodle for Deshaun Watson, who probably will never take another snap again in the NFL. And, you know, it's typical Browns. They don't know what the hell they're doing. They can't get out of their own way. And Baker Mayfield, I mean, look at this kid. I mean, he was washed up. The Browns got rid of him. And look at this kid. I mean, he's shining right now. And you never expected the Buccaneers, number one, even to advance to the playoffs with him at the helm. And number two, beat a contender like the Philadelphia Eagles. It's unheard of, but it can happen.
Yep. Absolutely.
So Jeff, we want to thank you, folks. You just tuned in. This is Jeff Reed, former Pittsburgh Steelers Super Bowl champion, 2 times NFL kicker. Jeff Reed, we all love and know you, Jeff. Thanks for coming on the show, short notice. You talked earlier about your place down in Carolina. Do you want to talk about that really quick? And you know,
just to give us some information so anybody who's down in your area can stop by, check you out, check out your spot, see what's going on with Jeff Reed.
Yeah, so it's on the internet, carolinasteelsportsbar.com. You'll know if you're on the right website. It's all things Pittsburgh and all things Carolina, obviously geared towards the Tar Heels and the Charlotte sports teams, pro sports teams, because we can't lose that crowd.
Right.
We've been open for 14 months. We were originally called the 12th Man Sports Pub. We took that over. It was a soccer pub, and we rebranded to Carolina Steel Sports Bar September 1st.
Nice.
Just in time for football season. So obviously that's our biggest months, our football season. So we have about a month left. But, you know, we have other things going on. You know, we have sports trivia nights. We have, you name it. I mean, we're coming up with things to do year round so people keep coming back and we don't lose people until next football season because we can't afford it.
Right.
But, yeah, it's in Charlotte, North Carolina. If you come through here, I mean, I couldn't tell you how many people yesterday said they were on their way to vacation in Florida and they wanted to watch the game at our bar, spend the night at a hotel right next door, then get up this morning and go to Florida.
Beautiful.
I mean, that makes you feel good.
Oh, absolutely.
Because I think, yeah, you know, so, and people actually do that. I mean, our max capacity is 91 people. We had about 130 in there yesterday.
Wow.
And unfortunately, some people walked out because there's nowhere to move. But,
Wow.
you know, that's what we've developed down here. And basically, if you have a Steelers sports bar, you're not going to fail. But you have to figure out what to do the next 6 months.
True. I hear you.
All right, Jeff, we know you got a lot of stuff going on. I know you got, you know, like I said, you last second call, you got stuff going on. Really quick before we end the call, give us your final 2 Super Bowl teams and who do you think's going to win it all?
Well, you know, deep down inside, I was born in Kansas City and I was raised a diehard Chiefs fan. So I still cheer for them, whether people like that or not. I don't care because that is where I was born. My dad's family.
I love it.
But that being said, if I had to choose who I want to win, it's Kansas City. I don't think they're strong enough this year to win. As I told you before, if Buffalo got in the playoffs, they'd win the Super Bowl. So that's my Super Bowl champion currently. I hate to say that because it hurts my heart to know that I've defended my friends talking crap to me, but Buffalo will win. And I actually think, believe it or not, that the Detroit Lions will come out of the NFC.
Wow.
Oh, nice.
How about a score, Jeff, while we're on a roll here?
Buffalo versus
the Lions. What about a score?
So if it's Buffalo and Lions, we're going to have some points. I would probably take the over, no matter who's betting out there. But I would say probably about maybe like a 34-28, a good 62 points in the Super Bowl, which would be a hell of a game to watch.
Sure.
But then again, I say that and it'd be like 6-0 or something. So because that's the way the NFL goes.
So,
but yeah, so I say Buffalo versus Detroit. Buffalo wins by 6 points.
Wow.
All right, you made a lot of Western New Yorkers happy, Jeff.
then the entire offseason, I have to hear people's mouths.
It's pretty much.
Hey, whatever. Roll the dice, Jeff.
But that being said, Buffalo is pretty good at choking, so they could choke.
Well, you heard live here, Jeff Reed. All right, Jeff, thank you so much for coming on. We love you so much, and we appreciate you taking the time to coming on. I definitely will call you, keep in contact with you, and we'll get together soon. So thanks for calling in, Jeff. I'll talk to you soon. Love you.
Yeah, appreciate you guys, man. Take care.
Take care, brother. Hey guys, like we said, it's phenomenal. You get guys that call in like Jeff Reed, doing his thing. This guy's won 2 Super Bowls with the Pittsburgh Steelers. He just told you, he remembers games when he had big kicks in games. We got another call coming in. We're gonna answer that quick here on Steeler Nation Live.
San Fran Steve, maybe.
Hey, is this San Fran Steve calling in?
Uh-oh.
Hello. No, there you go.
Yep. Tennessee Titan Mark said, "Where's San Fran Steve? Why is he not calling in?"
Well, I had a little guy I had to take back to the doctors for a second time in a week. So, but other than that, the Cowboy Kenny call in tonight? I missed him.
Oh no. He said he was going to call in. He did try to call in, but we were so backed up with calls, brother. But I'm glad you called because I'm pretty sure Cowboy Kenny going to probably try to call right after you call.
Hey, I think I put it on my Facebook page, and I think I even told James over there. It's just like, no, the Cowboys got embarrassed, and no, it's not even funny to beat them up right now. The question is, are they going to get Belichick, or are they going to not get Belichick? I think the Cowboys, but the problem is their head coach, or not the head coach, it's the owner. No ifs, ands, or buts. If Jerry Jones wants to be a player, he wants to be the quarterback, he wants to run the team, he wants to be the head of the defense. And I feel bad for the Cowboy fans because this is. I don't think McCarthy he did that bad of a job. I think Dak's not a big game quarterback. I think Dak need to move on. They're going to have to do something with the $54 million he's going to crush the cap next year. And you know what? Getting Bill Belichick, I don't think Bill Belichick wants to go to the Cowboys due to the fact that Jerry Jones is such a manipulator and everything else.
Absolutely.
I think where Bill Belichick needs to go is Atlanta. And I also said I think you should get Mike Babel as your defensive coordinator for next year. And this guy he's a winner no matter where he goes. So
hey, just to let you know, San Fran Steve, Cowboy Kenny was trying to call in. So after your call, we're gonna immediately jump to to Cowboy Kenny. So go ahead, brother. I'm listening to you. And like I said, after that, hang on. I mean, listen after your call because he's gonna be calling in.
Well, the thing I have about the 49ers that I'm a little worried about is that, like Jeff Reed alluded to, that when teams are on a resting period and you're playing a team that's been playing and they're gelling, they're getting together and they're advancing, for a team like the Green Bay Packers who did a number on the Dallas Cowboys, now they're fired up, they're ready to go, they're firing on all cylinders. They got their quarterback, their receivers are healthy, their running backs are healthy, they got a great coach. Now they're coming in great weather into San Francisco. Hopefully, maybe it'll rain. I don't know. But coming off a bye week, you're rested. Are you a little worried? Are you a little nervous that the 49ers might not be up the intensity as the Green Bay Packers after they destroyed the Cowboys in Dallas?
No, I'm not really. I won't say I'm not worried because Dan Campbell did a great job with that team. And but I think that might have been or I'm sorry, I'm Dan Campbell of the Detroit. I'm sorry, but no, I think with Green Bay, I think that was their playoff win. That was a Super Bowl. That's it. Huh?
Okay? I'm listening to you, brother. I'm listening.
So I because we all see teams that come in and play great, and you know what? They spanked the Cowboys in every aspect of the game. But you know what? Green Bay relied on that one game, which Green Bay they didn't how Dallas didn't adjust at all for the run game because Green Bay was bigger. Dallas was a small defensive team, and they got shown. They got beat up. And I think what Dallas needed to do is change it instead of having six guys in the playing safeties and cornerbacks, he should have put the extra guy in the box. And Dallas didn't adjust. And whose fault's that? That Dan Quinn's fault? Or is that McCarthy's fault?
That's Dan Quinn's fault.
It's both their faults because Mike McCarthy should have gone, Dan. I know when he showed him the game plan before the game, it's like, hey, this is what we're going to do. It's like McCarthy should have ripped his ass apart and go, no, this is not how we're going to play. They're a running team. They're going to run first, and they're going to set up to play action pass, which is exactly what happened. I just think that, and what happened with Green Bay, they didn't change their game plan at all. They kept going after. They kept doing what they said they were going to do. And they ran right down Dallas's throat. So, and like I said, I sent James a text earlier. I didn't even want to beat up Dallas anymore because after watching some of the memes and some of the people throwing tantrums and everything else, there's nothing more I could say. And you know what? And I told my cousin Todd, and unfortunately, he was supposed to fly down to Dallas for the game because his uncle had season tickets.
Right.
He was supposed to fly down, but he got stuck here in Rochester. And I'm like, hey, man, you should have went to my party instead. He goes, I should have, because the next they just looked that bad. And I go, hey, here's the best part. You save yourself time from going to the pregame, doing the tailgate, then having to sit at the game, watching that game. You should have put a bag over their faces like these old New Orleans Saints back in the day. But like I said, I don't want to beat them up. I'm just worried. I'm just happy about this weekend coming into the primetime Saturday night game. Woo! It's like it's going on.
Hey, now you're getting excited now. San Fran Steve, I need a score about the Green Bay Packers tipping into San Fran.
8:00 Saturday night, folks. If you're keeping score at home, 8:15 kickoff.
And we got a pin here, brother, ready to write down your score in case you got time to change it before I write it in stone.
Okay. Are you prepared?
We're ready.
I'm ready.
Shoot.
It's gonna be 34. It's gonna be 34-27.
34-27 San Fran.
All right.
And go off what Jeff Reed just said.
Yeah.
I think the Bills are going to spank. They're going to beat up Kansas City this weekend.
I think so too.
Which is going to set up.
Yeah, anybody coming into Buffalo, you're not going to beat the Bills. Simple. And if the Ravens lose, then Texans got to go through Buffalo. So Buffalo better hope that the Ravens lose, because if Buffalo plays anywhere else, I don't think you're going to win. Their only chance of winning, I believe, is at home.
Yep.
Well, tell Cowboy Kenny when he calls right after I get off the phone that he needs to start cheering for the Houston the Texans, because
the real football team.
If any team's going to come out of Texas, this young quarterback is amazing. He impresses me, and I have a feeling that I think if he doesn't get rattled too early, I think you're going to see the Texans beat the Ravens.
Wow. Let's get a score. Why not?
Yeah, we did. Well, which one? On the
Texans and the Ravens.
Texans, Ravens. Give us a score, brother.
Real quick.
Oh, dude, I haven't followed them, so probably.
Here we go.
The Ravens really haven't put up too many big numbers against people, and the Texans I think they're playing for that. The old. Oh yeah, their head coach is a former 49ers defensive coordinator. Damn. And so I think they're going to win it for this coach, rookie of the year coach. It's going to be another 49ers under Shanahan that's going to take another team to another playoff win. Oh. I think it's going to be. I already opened my mouth. I'm saying that it's going to be the Texans 28-17.
2017. Texas. All right, San Fran Steve, thanks for calling in. Hope Tennessee Titan Mark was listening to the phone call. Hey, Tennessee Titan Mark, you can call in anytime. It's 585-210-3917. And San Fran Steve, thanks for calling in. We will talk to you soon.
All right, my brother.
Yeah, you guys, this isn't your last show of the year, is it?
No, we'll have shows.
No, we'll have shows because we got special guests that's going to be coming on as well. And we got a draft show. So, dude, you got to stay tuned for that.
Absolutely.
What do you mean stay tuned for the draft show? I called your draft last year. I'm going to call it again this year. So
Oh, well, you got to
All
stop using that cricket phone, man.
Yeah.
All right, my
You got-
brother.
Is your connection? All right. I'm waiting for Cowboy Kenny.
All right,
listen
brother.
up. Cowboy Kenny.
Oh man. I tell you, man, this is crazy, man. What a night, man. Hey, that's what I'm saying. Still a freak. He's on there as well, doing his thing. 7 years without a playoff win. His new ugly record. We got another call coming in. I'm gonna grab this quick. Hopefully we can get it through. I got like 1% on here. Hopefully. All right. Welcome to Still a Nation Live. Who do we have on the line?
Well, hello, gentlemen. How are you all doing tonight?
Oh. Is this Buffalo Chad?
Oh, boy.
Oh,
yes,
Lord.
gentlemen. And look, I am not calling to brag. The saying is, stay hungry, be humble. That's what Coach McDermott says after every game, and that's what I'm going to do. Look, it was at the end of the day, it was a 2 seed versus a 7 seed. And only one time in the history has a 7 seed won, and we got to witness it on Sunday. That being said, I mean, we all predicted what it was going to happen. We all said, hey, these are what we anticipate. We also said without TJ Watt, the Steelers were a little bit shorthanded.
Yep.
And then James, unfortunately, James said, you beat a third-string quarterback. Well, I'll kind of fight you on that one because I really think Kenny Pickett's a third-string quarterback too, so it really didn't matter which quarterback you threw at us. But here, at the end of the day, there is one thing, and you can say that there was calls not made that should have been called against the Bills. I could sit here and complain that, hey, that fumble that never was a fumble should have happened. But there's one thing that I will say should have happened, and that's you guys should have tackled Josh Allen. I'm serious.
Agreed. I agree with you 100%.
And the wide receiver too, who pretty much put the dagger in our hearts.
Hey, but you got to admit, Chad, Buffalo Chad, you got to admit you were scared. You were scared. You were sitting at home and eating a nacho, get your hand shaking a little bit, weren't you? Oh, now that last, hey, Buffalo Chad, my apologies.
No, you're not. You hung up on him.
Yeah, right.
You hung up on him. Let's get it right.
My apologies, brother. What I was using for the phone, it died out on me, brother, because I wanted to get Cowboy Kenny on here as well, man. And I miss you, brother. Next show, brother, I'm going to give you heads up because I'm going to get you back on, especially with the Bills trying to make a quest for the Super Bowl. And if you guys win, you know how huge that's going to be for the Buffalo Bills to come out there with the win. Cowboy Kenny, I got to get you on. San Fran Steve said a lot. I was pissed. I knew this thing would do this, and I tried to hang on, but you know what? It is what it is. But, guys, like we said, we couldn't do this all season without you guys. Then the guys, you guys writing on the board and the much respect that we give to you guys and love you guys and all the things that come out here with Still a Nation Live. It was a great season for us in the black and gold. I think, we played at times to where we should have been better than what we were. We won 10 games, made it to the playoffs with a third-string quarterback. What else can you do? And you know what? All I can say, James, is just another season in the books for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
That's it.
So, guys, like we said, we're going to continually keep coming at you. James, you got something to say before we head out tonight?
No. No. Tune in to Steeler Nation Live. Check Facebook. Check our website, SteelerNationLive.net. Find us on YouTube at Steeler Nation Live 201. Check out our shows. Check us out. We'll be back next week to talk about these playoff games and scores and see how correct San Fran Steve was. Tennessee Titan Mark, we want you to call in, pal. You haven't called in yet.
Yep.
But I'm telling you, take care, folks. Steeler Nation Live will be back next week. New show, same time, same bad channel. And Jeffrey, thanks for calling back on. 2-time Super Bowl champion of Pittsburgh Steelers. And Mike Tomlin is still our coach.